Goeienaand, good evening, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. And the censorship war continues. And this time it's between, believe it or not, the mainstream media in Australia and Google. Now, what's got under the mainstream media's skin is that Google is now threatening to bury their stories. Now, why is Google threatening to do this? Well, because last year, the mainstream media in Australia asked the government through their lobbyists to bring in a law that would make Google have to pay the mainstream media, not me, but, News Limited, Rupert Murdoch, these sort of guys, Sydney Morning Herald, Fairfax News, the really big guys. Google would have to pay them millions of dollars each year because they are using their stories in their links. I don't know how that works. I thought publicity was always a good thing. And I thought online, the Australian and other big papers in Australia were getting revenue from people who actually went to their websites. But, Murdoch is a bit of a Scrooge, and he'll find any opportunity to make a quick buck. But this is why Google have responded and said, okay. And I have to tell you, as an Australian, Google was sending me regular notifications setting out how terrible this was going to be if the Australian government brought in a law that Google had to pay the mainstream media millions of dollars, and how it was going to affect me with my YouTube account. Now, this is the sort of shit that Google get up to. I believe that what Australia should do is just ban Google, ban YouTube from Australia. That would get their attention, believe me. And just make it a condition. If you want to come back, get rid of all the censorship on YouTube. We're over it. Let me give you the update on what's going on here. Google is under fire for removing some local news content from its search results in Australia as part of an experiment in what critics called a chilling illustration of the firm's power. The incident is the latest in an ongoing spat between Google and the Australian government, which is considering forcing it and Facebook to pay local news providers for displaying their content. Shortly after the law was proposed early last year, Google added a notice to its site warning the way Aussies search every day on Google is at risk. On Wednesday, Google said it had been running a few experiments that will each reach about 1% of Google search users in Australia. The Australian Financial Review first reported that Google had tweaked its algorithm to bury links from some major Australian news providers. The tech giant confirmed the tweak and sought to play down the significance, adding that it conducts tens of thousands of experiments every year. Yeah, you know what those experiments aimed at doing? Suppressing the type of content I produce. But for the LGBTQ community, boy, they go right to the top. I'm not going to go there, guys. I'm not going to have some little snowflake sniffing around this video. Okay, let me just leave it alone. Okay, let's continue. In a statement, Nine, the publisher behind the Sydney Morning Herald, told The Guardian, Google is an effective monopoly, and by withholding access to such timely, accurate, and important information, they show clearly how they impact what access Australians have to that. They went on to say, at the same time, Google are now demonstrating how easily they can make Australian news providers who fall out of their favour effectively disappear from the internet. A chilling illustration of their extraordinary market power. Australian Treasurer Josh Frydenberg said to reporters, The digital giants should focus on paying for original content, not blocking it. That's my message to these digital giants. He went on to say, we have again introduced legislation that's now before a Senate committee to put in place a world-leading mandatory code to see those digital giants pay traditional news media businesses a fair sum of money for generating original content. A Google spokesperson said, every year we conduct tens of thousands of experiments in Google search. We're currently running a few experiments that will each reach about 1% of Google search users in Australia to measure the impacts of news businesses and Google search on each other. And he concluded by saying, in 2018, the value we provided to publishers through referral traffic alone was estimated at $218 million US. Google said the experiment would come to an end in February. Now, I have to tell you, look, I'm sitting on the fence on this one. I think Google stinks, okay? As I said, I would love to see it being banned from Australia completely, together with YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Get them all out of here. Let them feel the wrath of Australians about the way they are censoring us. Let them realize that they cannot get away with this crap. You know, that's like Uganda's done. Uganda's actually done this. They've actually banned Facebook and Twitter from their country. I think that's a fabulous idea. Just a few countries have to do that for a few weeks, and believe me, YouTube would change their policy like that and stop this crap that they're doing with community strikes. But of course, they've got lobbyists in Parliament as well, haven't they? Anyway, it's going to be interesting to see where this thing goes. Clearly, it's a war now, not just between little guys like me and big tech, but it's a war now between the mainstream media in Australia and big tech. All right, guys, please remember to subscribe to be kept informed. Ring the bell for the updates. Please like this video. Please share this video. And above all, please stay safe. Bye for now.